Hey there and welcome to this D&D special where we're opening up some new minis that I've just got from Mighty Lancer Games. As you can see, they say thank you for your order, and they were actually really great in multiple accounts. They texted me the order and it came very promptly, and they kept in touch about stuff in terms of it being on its way and being delivered, and that's really awesome of them. So open them up. We take the good old Stanley, we go in, and this is all for the Mighty Adventure box. And because for 2.5 years now I've been playing D&D with a group of fellas and I haven't got the right miniatures for them, so here we are. And these are all Reaper minis. First up, pulled from the box, then we have Stern Casterman. He's going to be the paladin for the group, and he's got a bent sword, unfortunately. I'll have to straighten it out, but that's all good. He also has a second sword, which I'm very happy about, because our paladin has 2 swords, one of which I think is actually a katana, but either I'll modify the one in his hand or I'll modify the other one. So he's really great though, in minor modification. He's going to be the beard twizzler of the Luther persuasion, so he needs a moustache and goatee just to bring him in line with the character. However, his armour is correct. It took me a long while. It's quite hard to find a paladin who's just got 2 swords on him and no shield. There's lots of knight type characters out there, so we could just see a few more different varieties. It's bizarre, but there seems to be a lot more female characters, even though I think there's probably less female players. But what the hey. Next up we have Thorvald Clawhelm, but he's actually going to be Vinlock the Grout. He's our dwarf hero. Again, it took me ages to find just a dwarf carrying an axe, which kind of shocked me quite a lot, because I thought you would have been able to find dwarves carrying axes pretty easily. Either way, he needs a fair bit of modification as well. He's got a little sword in his belt, which our dwarf does not carry. He has a fruit knife, as the king from Blackadder did, but he needs a little keg round his neck, because he's always carrying his keg of alcohol, whether it's brandy, whiskey, or whatever the hell he can get his hands on. He likes to have a swig, otherwise he goes a bit mad. Also, he has a couple of throwing axes stuffed through his belt and a smithy hammer hanging from his belt, which he often throws at people. Here we have Alfred Redloot, or as he's known to us, Milnar. He's actually an elf for us. I'm not sure if this guy's meant to be human or what, but it's fine. This guy, he needs a cloak and a hood in order to make him much more Milnarish, because Milnar is our bard. I love the fact that he's singing. Our bard is often singing and driving everybody else crazy, and that seems very, very appropriate. Here we have Rogar the half-orc rogue then, or thief, but actually for our purposes he's going to be Atuin the wizard. He's our half-orc who needs to have a modification by one of his daggers. Needs to be swapped out until converted into being a crossbow. He's currently using crossbow quite a bit, because 6th level you don't have enough casting power ability, or at least in 3.5 edition, which is what we're using. We're a bit old school in that respect, and I'm very loose-handed with the rules anyway. I don't really see the point in being super picky with the rules when you can have a lot more fun without being picky. And it is the first rule in D&D that you throw away any rules that prevent the game from being fun. Also, only plastic miniatures of the bunch. I did try and get metal miniatures for everybody, because I actually prefer metal over plastic, but I couldn't actually find a copy of this mini in metal. It was either entirely sold out or just something that people tended not to stock in plastic. To be honest with you, I would have liked to have got everything in plastic or everything in metal, and I'm a bit frustrated that I couldn't. But what the hey, that's life. So this is the half-orc wizard to be. Here then we have Mavero, the iconic cultist, who's going to become Marcus the cleric. The reason I went for him is because he fits the description of Marcus as given by the player, both in terms of he's got the boots, the coat, he has the right look. He's also got the skull in hand. He's covered in pouches. Our Marcus is covered in pouches. Our Marcus doesn't use a sword though. I'll probably convert that to be a bow, because he does carry a bow, but he actually uses sickles. But if you ever tried finding a miniature with sickles, apparently they don't exist out there. So if you are a manufacturer and you happen to view this ever, please think about making some miniatures with sickles. Clerics don't only use hammers and maces. Just a thought, you know, but just, you couldn't even find a druid with a sickle. But this guy will work really well, and once he's had a bit of conversion done to him, so like I say, he's carrying a bow, and I'll put a sickle at his waist. And I think he'll work just fine. I do particularly like these talking to a skull, which would be very Marcus of him. Finally then we have Eli Quicknight. He's not actually Eli Quicknight, but he's the assassin for the group. Our assassin is called Larry. And Larry is actually a time traveller whose future background has yet to be explored really. He might even be from a different dimension, because he certainly was confused to find all of these weirdy creatures, and was even more confused when they found it very easy to accept him coming through a dimensional rift into their world. But by that time they'd seen so much weirdy stuff that, to be honest with you, it was pretty run-of-the-mill for them. So I'm using this guy who's the Reaper 25th anniversary model because he's the finest version of it. Only conversion he's doing to him is he needs a knife to be made to look like a modern combat knife, and it's got like, it's being treated as like a magical blade +1 because it's like sci-fi technology, if you like. It's like a modern day Bowie knife made of like carbon fibre or something, so it's got that sort of whole black blade thing going on, super lightweight, super sharp. So I quite like the idea of just keeping it functioning as a sort of low-level magical item. Then I grabbed the Invisible Ranger Bones because I liked this particular plastic, transparent. Also, with the hood up, it's perfect for our Milner. Milner, our bard, has a cloak of invisibility. He uses it pretty regularly as well. I do believe our cleric can also turn invisible, and I think our mage may also be able to turn invisible in the not too distant future already. So, you know, it's always worth having something for proxying in invisible people. I did only get the one of these. Maybe I should have got a variety of them, and that way I could have actually tracked who's who by which invisible proxy they're using, but we shall see. Hopefully it won't be a problem, but I just grabbed this one because it's nice to have an actual invisible miniature rather than just trying to remember. Also for my own visual reference and your visual reference really, so that when I'm doing video camera work then I get to actually swap things out and you can actually see the difference. This is a bit of a random one. I got this were-crocodile because my paladin came to me and he was like, do I have to ride a warhorse? Does my steed, my heroic paladin steed, have to be a warhorse? And I was like, well, it doesn't have to be. And he was really glad about this. So he asked if he could ride a crocodile. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll work something out. Because basically the more heroic and ridiculous you want your steed to be as a paladin, the more heroic and ridiculous a mission you have to achieve. I mean, I was half expecting him to say like, I want to ride a dragon, and actually I would not have been against that. It would not have been impossible. It would have just been really, really hard because, you know, dragon. But he just asked for a crocodile, and I thought, you know what, that's not unreasonable. And then I saw this guy, and he's a were-crocodile, but I'll do him as some kind of crocodile ogre, like weirdy monstery thing, or I'll find the stats for a were-crocodile but make it so it's just like a sewer mutant saltwater crocodile thingy whatnot, with enough intellect to be able to, I don't know, pseudo commune with our paladin hero. And I saw this miniature and I was like, yes, that's the one. And it also means that if we ever play TMNT, I have a crocodile dude for TMNT, which by the way is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as in the RPG version of it. So all round good buy, and a very lovely miniature I do think. Also very reasonably priced in plastic. Finally, just at the same time, I bought these 3 sea lions just because I'm running an underwater adventure box and I needed just underwater aquatic dudes, and I decided to go for sea lions for the minute because at the moment we're going to be in the oceans. And these would be appropriate. Alongside these I'll be scratch building an Eye of the Deep for total destruction. So it also might be that what the players see first from amongst the weeds, presuming they have the sense to be hidden, which sometimes they do really have the sense and other times they just don't. But if they do, then they may well have seen these guys being eaten by the Eye of the Deep, and then I'll, respawn them, bring them back at different times or what have you. So partly I'm using this stuff as props for the adventure. It might be that, and when I say props, I mean as in not direct combatants for the characters. I do like to play a role-playing game rather than a meta game of kicking in doors and killing monsters. So on my adventure box, hopefully the story side of it will be released by now, but if not, it will be released in the not too distant future. I like to make it so that they're not just here's some baddies for you to slay. There's something that they're trying to achieve within the space of the actual map, so that it's more to it than just, here's the map for you to kill each other. I like to use the map as a frame of reference and always try and keep describing what's going on to keep people engaged, because the best games I have had personally is the games where I feel like I'm a player even though I'm the DM, and that's because of the level of engagement from the players. And when the players give you that level of engagement, you get an amazing game. So I hope this has been of interest to you, and you can see that Reaper is probably the way to go as far as I can tell for D&D. They do make some really nice miniatures, and they cover a lot of bases in terms of D&D monsters. And cheers everybody, have a good one, take care. Bye bye.